before the invention of film, during the mid-19th century, a gentleman by the name of Joseph Plateau invented a machine that would be capable of producing moving pictures based off of a series of hand-drawn drawings. This action would be viewed using a revolving disc. The Praxinoscope was then created by Emily Raynaud. She introduced this in Paris using a perforated film which would help create and project the images onto the screen. With the introduction of live-action films, however, animation was thrown to the curb but reinvented back in 1908 by a gentleman named J. Stuart Blackton, who pioneered stop-motion photography, which was then taken up by Amélie Coul, who created more than 100 animated films in a span of 10 years, which was from 1908 to 1918. A generalized definition of film animation is that it covers multiple styles, themes, and techniques, such as hand-drawn drawings or digitally created drawings. The genre has always found a way to aim at the widest possible age range, and that is the introduction to animation. The setting of animation films is almost always in a fictional town where the main protagonist lives. Examples of these are Whoville from The Grinch and Metropolis City from Megamind. However, there are a few animation films with real-life settings, such as Ratatouille, which features Paris as the main setting. Typically, the main protagonist is accompanied by an ally to help with his or her journey, and this is seen quite a lot in modern day animation because of the advancement of technology. Creators now have the flexibility to add as many characters as they please. In Lion King, Timon and Pumbaa accompany Simba on his journey, and in Toy Story, Woody and Buzz accompany each other on their journeys, and in Ratatouille, Remy and Linguini's son accompany each other on their journey. The main protagonist is usually given a backstory to let viewers know why they're doing what they're doing in the film. The antagonists in the animation films have the same role as antagonists in live-action films, and that is to make sure they serve as a roadblock for the protagonist during the duration of the film to prevent the protagonist to accomplish his or her goal. The storytelling has improved significantly with technology. Nowadays, animation films can do all things a live-action film can do. However, back in the 50s and 60s, the music helped significantly with the storytelling to set the mood and emotions of the characters. The main thing that sets animation apart from the rest of its competition is its ability to easily tell stories and communicate emotions to both children and adults. And animation also helps audiences connect through the world in ways writing and live action cannot do. And that is why animation is so significant. Winsor McCay was an American cartoonist responsible for the first creation of animated cartoon to be presented in theatrical program in the United States. This cartoon was called Gretty the Dinosaur. In 1918, he also made the first animated feature called The Sinking of the Lusitania. Following this, in the years of 1919 to 1920, it saw the first emergence of cartoon production units. These units were responsible for one reel, 10-minute animated features, which was made possible by the labor-saving method of cell animation. Steamboat Willie was created by Walt Disney, and it was the first animated feature with sound. Following this, cartoons such as Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy became just as well known as Hollywood actors. After this, Disney began to streamline production of cartoons, and by doing this they dominated Hollywood's animation scene for the better part of the 30s. And to close out a successful decade, they released several successful films such as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. With this rise in popularity from Disney, many tried to rival the company. For example, Dave Fleischer, who is responsible for the Popeye shorts, attempted to create his own full-length cartoon to rival Disney. These cartoons were Happy Goes to Town and Gulliver Travels. However, these were not as attractive for children, therefore they were not commercially successful. However, fast forward to the 80s, and there was a significant decline in animation quality from Disney. Therefore, the company decided to bring in a new crop of animators and creators. Therefore, they were eventually responsible for the instant classics like Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. Also during the same time, Pixar Animation was put on the map with their successful, groundbreaking creation of Toy Story. And the reason why this film was so significant to animation was because it was the first animated feature to use digitally created characters, resulting in a completely new style of animation. Following the 90s, a series of animation continued with hit films like Monsters Inc., Incredibles, Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, and many, many more, all of which were produced by Pixar Animation. If we look at animation today, it has completely changed for the better. A prime example of this is Toy Story 4 and Soul. Both films have such a realistic visuals you can barely tell if it's animated or not. Overall, animation has been extremely significant to Hollywood over the years, as it has provided endless possibilities for creators to bring their image to life, along with the fact that new, innovative ways of animation such as digital animation has paved the way for groundbreaking visual effects in animated films. Overall, animation for the better part of 8 decades has served as a beacon of success for Hollywood and has provided many all-time classics for generations to come. In conclusion, over the span of a century, animation has significantly evolved from a revolving disc to animation that looks exactly like real life. This is due to the many innovators of this industry that helped develop the tech necessary for these groundbreaking achievements. And obviously, these developments such as computer-generated animation help raise the bar for animation studios. Today, almost all animation looks like real life. And it's because of this, animation has had a significant impact on Hollywood because the genre has produced timeless classics enjoyed by several generations and more to come, along with the fact that it has brought endless possibilities for film creators as technology has significantly improved for animation. Overall, without animation, Hollywood wouldn't be what it is today, and that is why animation is a staple of film and Hollywood history. You got trouble.